Today's Toy Spot, we're having a look at the NECA Predator, the ultimate alien hunter, Lava Planet Predator. A blazing sword and over 20 points of articulation. This comes to us from NECA Toys and reminiscent of the old Kenner line of Predator figures that this line is based off of. Down below, a very crude yet retro image of the Lava Planet Predator down below there. And on the back of the package, first of all, I mean, I really love this packaging as a whole. I mean, we've even looking at the front and then looking at the back. I mean, this just screams retro to me. This looks like something you would see from the original Kenner line. The read-up says, a descendant of the rare tribe that inhabited the lethal volcanic reaches of Uja Prime. They wear specialized masks and cloaking nets to suppress the high levels of radioactivity. Their invisibility cloaking technology is highly advanced and nearly always active as a protective electromagnetic field against the radiation, though visible undulations of skin and armor are constantly moving and shifting amongst the fiery red landscape these predators occupy. Lava Clan warriors carry specialized weaponry specific for hunting the Vidrage insectoids of the desert. This is a rite of passage for most common Yuja warriors, but for the Lava Clan, it is a way of life. The other figures that are available in this set, which I believe is Series 10, there's the Lava Planet Predator, which we're looking at today, the Night Storm Predator, and Hive Wars Predator. To check out everything that NECA is producing, you can head over to www.necaonline.com. Spot's going to take himself a break and get this opened up. When we come back, we are going to get a better look at the Lava Planet Predator. Don't go anywhere, guys. Stay tuned. NECA really has done an incredible service to some of the pieces that we've got before with the likes of the Kenner Predator line. I mean, if you were to look, and unfortunately I don't have the original Lava Planet Predator on hand, but if you were to look at the two, this looks like a modern version of that previous released figure. Everything that the NECA figure has done is something we've seen before with the Kenner version of this figure. The original Kenner line had the black with the yellow, more really in just the chest section here. The rest of the figure, it was in this same translucent red plastic that we get in this figure, but the rest of the figure, except for really this section here, was just all that plastic. There really wasn't a lot of coloring that NECA now has gone back and just kind of given little extra bits of detail. So while this section was really only the bit of detail on the Kenner version, the black with the yellow outline is now carried over into the arms, the hand, down in the lower leg area, and even things like the shins are all colored in with an additional paint. Except for that, really, everything on this figure is exactly the way we got it with the original Kenner line. So, I mean, NECA has wowed me really throughout this whole line. We've already had a look at one other figure before this, and we still have to look at the one other figure in this line as well. But I'm really excited for what they've done with this. I don't know if they're ever going to redo any more of the Kenner figures, but if they do, I will very likely pick them up. I guess really the only other thing that they did one extra, or they didn't do, that Kenner had for their particular figure was Kenner had a really large kind of missile launching cannon up at the top, and for realistic reasons I can see why NECA opted not to do that. Instead, what we got with NECA's version is just a smaller plasma caster shoulder cannon. It does look like it can rotate down this track. There's a little track at the back here that this cannon can rotate up and down on. It's just a little bit, but it's enough just to give you that little extra bit of detail. The cannon also does rotate up and down, but is in that same translucent red plastic that is predominant on the rest of the figure as well. I guess really from the back, the figure really doesn't have a lot of detail. A lot of the detail is really just in the front of the figure. But stuff such as the silver chest piece as well as the shoulder plate here are all something, again, that came from the Kenner the Kenner Lava Planet Predator initially. Face sculpt, I guess really more so mask sculpt, is again an updated take to the original Kenner figure. A lot more detail, but it still had this the kind of pincher look mask to it that that Kenner had as well. On the side of the hand was also this blade. Now NECA's given us a little more added detail to it, and also as well, this whole blade section can extend. I like this color. I don't even know what I would call it, like a reddish, kind of looks like a reddish silver color on the blade here. And it also carries over to the other gauntlet on his wrist too. But again, like all this paint, it only appears on a one surface of the figure itself. On the underside, it's just this regular translucent plastic. It's almost very similar as well to Thermal Vision Dutch, where Thermal Vision Dutch really was the back end of him. The whole back section was just one color plastic. All the paint was really on the front of the figure. And I'm all right with that. I'm not going to display my figure like this anyways. I'm going to display him from the front, and I'm going to display him in some dynamic pose. With this also being one of the later Predator line figures from NECA, we're also getting a lot more articulation. Gone are the days of just the straight swivel. This Yuja can actually extend and split at the legs. In the way of his articulation, I really should say, he does have a ball joint in the head. Despite really with the pincers, his head does move up and down quite easily still, and move left and right quite easily as well. It's a shame that his mask doesn't remove, but I'm completely all right with the fact it doesn't. His shoulders do move back and forth. They are on a hinge ball socket, so they do rotate out. And you can see actually that the plate on his shoulder pad does have a little bit of clearance. It's only adhered really at the bicep, that there's a little bit of clearance on the shoulder that will allow the shoulder to move out. The arm can also move forward and back. He has a bend and rotation in the forearm, a rotation and bend via the ball joint in the hand, and then the waist swivels. Legs, as we've already mentioned, go out, bend, hinge at the legs, and then he has a swivel in the bicep. He has a double bend at the knee, and a double and hinge in the foot. There are very few times that you'll see one toy line give a nod to something that a previous toy line has done. NECA, the fact that they are doing this with their Predator figures, I don't know if they're really doing any further than Series 10. But with the three figures that we've gotten in this line, it's nice to see that they see where the original Predator line came from with Kenner and has given it a fan nod. I mean, Predator figures have advanced, and some of the best figures have come from NECA, but to give us a nod to what we got before with the more basic figures of the 80s, I really appreciate that. I don't know if it's to say we'll ever get like alien versions of some of the old Kenner figures. I mean, that would be kind of cool, because as interesting as the Predators were, my love for the original Kenner line lied more in the alien end of it. I mean, there were so many interesting aliens that I would love to see NECA approach those as well. Time will certainly tell, but in the meantime, I'm very happy with what they've done with this line of figures. In the way of Lava Planet Predator, I'm going to give him actually an 8.5. He may not be everyone's cup of tea, but certainly if you grew up with the original Kenner's line of figures, I mean, this is just a fan, just a love letter to the fans of the original line. And for that, I certainly say thank you, NECA. Today's Toy Spot, we were having a look at the NECA Predator figures, and I believe, again, this was Series 10. We're having a look today at the Lava Planet Predator. Stay tuned, guys. Spot's going to have more Toy Spots heading your way, and as well, we're going to be having a look at more Predator figures heading your way as well. Thanks for watching, as you always do. See you next time. Spot was so excited with this particular review that I completely left off the blade weapon that came with the Lava Planet Predator. It's a smaller blade with a red blade and black handle with a little bit of silver on the end there. There's not a lot of paint to it, But I gotta say, I really like the design of this blade. Really has like a jagged, rough look to it that looks like it could definitely cut into flesh. And we'll just put it into his hand. His hand is, because it is a translucent plastic, it's a little bit more difficult to kind of get it wedged into his hand. But it definitely only fits in the one hand because the other hand is more just an opened palm. But there you have the Lava Planet Predator with his blade. I can't believe Spot actually left that off the review. Again, I think I was so excited for this figure that I just left this off. But it definitely looks good, and you know what? From a display end of it, I know Spot doesn't do a lot of posing with his when it comes to his reviews, but certainly from a display end of it, I probably would likely have him displayed with the blade anyways. Just all of it looks together so very cool all together, with especially the blade in hand. A little extra bit of video, guys. Sorry again, Spot forgot the blade, and that's what happens when you start falling in love with something while you're reviewing it. You tend to forget accessories. See you guys next time. Bye.